Hey everybody, my name's Eric, and you're about to watch my new channel, Big Dog Down. And today we will be talking about my history with vestibular conditions and really just kind of a recap on where I was and where I am now. And I think you will be pleasantly surprised. So, without further ado, this is Big Dog Down. Hey guys, I know it's been a while, and honestly, it's been enough time that you probably thought I was never going to actually post again, but yet, here I am. I think the last time I posted a video was probably 2020, if I remember right. Yeah, either way, it's been a while, and honestly, one of the main reasons why I never actually made another video was because I wanted to let a significant amount of time really go by before I would ever post again, because I wanted to test the waters and make sure that I really was actually over the vestibular condition. I wanted to make sure that I was in the right mental state and that I could have enough history now built up that I can honestly speak to these ailments with a little bit more authority, since I have lived through them on the daily over the years. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and hop right on in. So if you've watched any of my other videos, then you know that I suffered from 3PD and as well as vestibular neuritis. I should say vestibular neuritis is what gave me 3PD, also known as PPPD. This channel was devoted to vestibular illnesses in general that people fight and suffer through every day. This was supposed to be a channel where people could come and really walk away with hope, because I was living proof that, you know what, you can actually get a vestibular condition and be told that, hey, you're going to have this the rest of your life, and you can still defeat it. So don't let the people around you tell you, or the medical professionals, that I'm sorry, this is probably just where you're at now and you have to live with this, because let me tell you, I'm living proof you do not have to live with this. And I'm sending you a message of hope, so you can listen to it and take it in, receive that, and let it just kind of marinate. So the biggest thing I want to go over today is kind of my journey of where I was, where I was going to be, and how I stopped it, and here's where I am today. Originally, when I had vestibular neuritis, it messed up my posterior canal nerve. I was stuck in the vertigo state. I had dizziness for 3 months straight, nonstop, no break, all the time. When I got my first break, it lasted for maybe like a day, and then I was back to the dizziness again. The weirdest freaking symptoms you could ever imagine with an illness, from numbness to disassociated cognitive function. So a lot of it would be like this third-party dizziness where you feel like there's a hand in your head, where you just don't feel right, and you have this neurological fatigue that really just is very paralyzing in every sense of the word. It challenges motor skills, your thought ability. It's really, truly horrendous. And I think I said in my other videos, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, and I still stand by that statement. It is awful. So if you are experiencing these symptoms, you're in the right place, and I am so sorry. It's truly terrible. It's awful, and there's really no other description for your symptoms that you're going through, quite frankly. So I am sorry, but know that there is a way out of this. So often, and I came to realize this as time would go on, so often the biggest bridge to bridging the gap between where we are currently and where we want to be is ourselves, and how our negative outlook really does kind of impact our actual physical health. You really do have to build the ladder to get over the wall that is vestibular related conditions. It's a very physical thing that it attacks your neurological centers, and vestibular migraine especially is a central disorder, not a peripheral. Vestibular neuritis is a peripheral condition that can actually turn into a central condition. It just kind of depends on the case. My case, I was more the peripheral that did actually impact the central. I kind of was all, I don't know what I was. I think I was all of them, honestly. I really had some severe symptoms with it, and just from the extreme vertigo to everything spinning around to then just that subtle background dizziness that you wake up, it's still there. You're always self-checking in, and you'll go 5 minutes and you'll be like, do I still feel dizzy? Yep, I do. And then you'll go down this proverbial depressive spiral that really can put you in a very dark place very quickly. I remember at the height of my ailment and symptoms, I really did not want to live anymore. I was always a pretty happy-go-lucky guy, and it really was so debilitating that it destroyed me, and I no longer really did want to live. And when you get to that point, you can either do one of two things. You can, one, give in and obviously end things, which is no option at all. It carries no lifelong, it carries nothing. It's empty, it's sad, it's depressing, and don't do it. And the second is rise to the occasion. Your mind has to be stronger than your emotions. Let me say that again. Your mind has to be stronger than your emotions. The illness and the symptoms will make your emotions go crazy, but your mind still has to stay sane. And that's what I noticed throughout the whole period of the long elongated period that were my symptoms for the year or so, or a year and a half that I had them, that was so bad. I would still feel the same way today if I did get up and really challenge the symptoms. Fortunately for me, I got on meds for it, and then those started helping a little bit minusculely. And what really helped me was getting the vestibular therapy going and having a place that I could go. I found a Vestibular Institute therapy center, and I started going there. That really helped to have that support system, because it really is pivotal. A lot of people around you will not understand what you're going through, and they can't understand because a lot of times you still look normal. You don't look like you're sick. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that, when you actually are. So don't let people or what people think about you dictate your outlook of self. You need to go and get the therapy. What I would suggest is you get a counselor, and you also get the vestibular therapy going as well. It's not an easy thing to go through this, and you can make it through it though. I did, and now I'm here to tell you that I'm 2-3 years removed from it now, and I still am normal, guys. Here we are. I feel great. I'm doing things that I never thought possible, to be honest with you. I've started a company, tech company on the side, and that's scaling now. I've changed jobs. I work in tech mergers and acquisitions now. I'm doing things that I never thought or places my career could go, and a lot of it kind of came from the due diligence of the persistence in wanting to feel better. That same persistence has now bled over into other areas of my life that I didn't have the self-control earlier or self-discipline probably to be able to do them. So I do believe God allows things to happen in our lives to shape us and mold us and make us something that we need to know about ourselves that we currently at the time didn't know about ourselves. And if you tune into it and you allow yourself the emotional space to tune into it, I think you'll find that you'll pleasantly be surprised. C.S. Lewis once said that God whispers in joy towards us and screams at us in our pain. And that's a true statement, and that the pain in your life is when you will be challenged the most to actually do something about your life and actually change. So look at this vestibular condition as an opportunity to improve yourself, improve your outlook, improve your relationships, your spiritual relationship with the Lord, or depending on what you believe in and all of that. I'm a Christian, so I believe in Jesus Christ as my personal Lord and Savior, but that's me. And it's hard to try to quantify the best way to go about getting over this and getting better, but I can give you some tips. And the tips go something like this. The minute you are self-checking in, am I dizzy? Do I still feel like crap? Am I nauseous? Do I have all these things? Because that's what happens with this. You'll end up, you'll be surprised if one day you're actually kind of feeling okay, and you're like, whoa, why do I feel okay? Should I feel? And then all of a sudden you start thinking about it, and before you know it, the symptoms are back, and it's horrible. And symptoms will come and go with any illness, but what I've learned is the more you think about it, the way worse it gets. And so you have to kind of trick your mind, and you have to stop thinking about it and start just relying on the therapy to create those new neurological paths. So in your brain, you create neurological pathways that's through neuroplasticity for making up for damaged areas. So like for instance, my peripheral posterior canal nerve was shot. I had to build a new infrastructure system around it. The highway, there was a traffic jam, so I had to get off and build a new on-ramp for my neurological pathways. And that that neuroplasticity really did allow me to venture down those new neurological pathways that were being built through the VRT, that visual, that vestibular therapy, that you're doing the exercises where you're like looking at that up and down and all around, and there's many different exercises that kind of go into that. But all that suffice to say, if you start taking these steps forward and you're starting to work out, exercise, you're doing all these things, you start putting yourself in a better mental state. And once you're in a better mental state, you'd be shocked at how quickly you start tackling this and actually overcoming this. You want to surround yourself with friends. You need purpose. You need meaning. These are things that go past any physical ailment, and they derive themselves in a place that bring your existence to a point of the cross intersection of meaning and purpose. And when you have meaning and you have purpose, meaning and purpose, when you know your purpose, you have meaning, and it's really a great thing when you feel that. And I know you're probably thinking, maybe this is all mumbo jumbo. How can this really improve my physical, how I feel right now? And I don't know how to explain it, but it does. And if you go down this road and you start getting a whole lot more positive, and you get up and you're like, you know what? Who cares? Maybe I do feel like crap. I don't really care. Whatever. It's not going to stop me. I'm still going to go out and do this thing that I previously wouldn't do because I feel like crap. I'm no longer letting it stop me. And through not letting it stop me, I'm pushing forward. And what happens is your body rises to the occasion, and then you actually do level up, and that new normal becomes your normal, and you actually don't feel dizzy anymore. It all goes away. You're good. It's like, oh, congratulations. You've made it to level 20. Here you go. Here's back your balance and no more dizziness. And it's incredible. And I stopped drinking alcohol. I stopped drinking coffee. I've actually started drinking a beer every once in a while again, and coffee. And it doesn't bother me. I've gone back to my whole life. Now, I will say this. I know my triggers. I know when I'm really tired, I might be more likely to get dizzy. So I try to scale back. You can't push yourself. It's push and go, It's push a little, give a little, And when I say give a little, I mean rest. You want to get your sleep. You want to get, your personal life aligned. You don't want to do things that are going to yield you depression or put you in a worse state. You don't want to set yourself up for failure is what I'm trying to say. And the best way to do that is to surround yourself by people that you love and that love you, to get a community, start exercising, and really start pushing and start looking into others' lives and not your own life. When you start taking interest in others and other things, hobbies, things to start taking up your time, the illness and the symptoms start going down over time. They really do. And it helps. Stay off the channels. Stay off the vestibular walls where you see people posting about how they're never going to get better and they're really depressed. They've had this for a long time. All of that. That's not really helping your case. You've moved past this. You can't think that way anymore, because that way of thinking is debilitating, and I understand where those people are at. I get it. You know, any more time that you have to go through this than necessary is hell on earth. I've talked to people that have had it for years, and they ended up getting over it. I've talked to people that had it for a month or two, and they were lucky. They got over it pretty quickly. You know, so it comes in all shapes and sizes. So you can't sit here being like, yeah, well, maybe my case is way different. Your case is not that much different. It's just, it is what it is. You know, it might have come through labyrinthitis, it might have come through vestibular neuritis, it might have come through Meniere's, it might have come through vestibular migraine. You know, all of these different things, all of them, they'll say that, you know, this could be a lifelong thing you have to deal with now. But I truly believe it might be there in the background, and you might have bouts with it every now and then. But honestly, I haven't had a bout with it in a very long time. I mean, we're talking a year. And even when I did, it was a very short bout. It did not last very long. So my message is, I'm like 3 years removed from this now, and I still feel normal, and I still feel great. And so this is my message to you. Keep fighting. Don't stop. Hang in there. Give yourself a break. Smile. It's going to be okay. Okay? So keep going. You got this. And you know what? If you just believe in yourself a little bit more every day, you're going to notice those symptoms start to dissipate. It won't be at first, and it will take a while. It took me a while. It really did. And trust me, I was a mess. I really was. But slowly but surely, I learned baby steps. You know, it's like, what about Bob the movie? It's the baby steps saying. So take baby steps, and you'll notice over time, like strength resistance training, you will build an acuity, and you will build a new infrastructure that will be your system of balance, and slowly but surely the dizziness will dissipate. So yeah, that was the message I wanted to bring to you all. I'm going to start posting more on another channel. It's not going to so much be about vestibular conditions. It's going to be a little bit more about business, relationships. We all love that one, as well as just all things about life, philosophical. It's going to be kind of a fun podcast. It's called Big Dog Down. I haven't posted a episode yet, actually filming one coming up here soon, whenever I can find time. That's the other problem is, as life goes on, you start getting busier, and you start developing businesses and stuff like that. It just has a way of taking up all your time. But that said, you always have to make time for things you care about. There's no excuse. So anyway, I figured I'd throw out a bone to y'all and let you know that's what I'm doing. So yeah, other than that, I wish you all the best, seriously. And just know the strength from within is the strength that you need to get over this. So, you know, it's not a medicine. You are your own medicine here. And never forget that. Remember, a strong mind has to be stronger than the emotions that mind is put through. So, hang in there. You're going to be great. Thanks, guys.